By the spring of 1993, the justice system believed it had resolved the case. Paul Bernardo was in custody, and Karla Homolka had secured a 12-year sentence for manslaughter. But the narrative of the coerced, helpless bystander was about to be shattered. For months, a dark secret lay hidden away in the ceiling of the Port Dalhousie home. Videotapes filmed by the perpetrators themselves. When those tapes were finally surrendered to the Crown, the complexion of the entire case changed instantly. They revealed a horrifying truth. Homolka was not an innocent witness, she was an active, calculated participant in these crimes, including the death of her own sister, Tammy. The revelation outraged a nation. The deal with the devil was secured and binding under Canadian law. It could not be reversed. But as the 1995 jury trial apart, a reckoning came to the courtroom. A media circus descended upon Toronto. The demand for the graphic details was insatiable, but a critical battle was fought behind the scenes. Families of the victims, supported by the Crown, fought tragically to protect the dignity of their daughters. The judge ruled that the visuals of the tapes would never be shown to the public or the media. The privacy of the innocent would not be sacrificed for sensationalism. And it is here that we choose to shift the lens permanently. The trials have ended, the guilty remain classified as dangerous offenders, but the criminal is not the story. We end this series where the story truly belongs, with the light that was lost. Tammy Homolka, 15 years old, vibrant, athletic, and a life stolen long before it began. Leslie Mahaffey, 14 years old, a talented ice skater who loved music and whose absence left a void that time can never heal. And Kristen French, 15 years old, an honor roll student, a rowing team member, remembered for her compassion, her fierce kindness, and her deep integrity. They were not case files, they were not headlines, they were daughters, sisters, and friends. And finally, we honor the families, the French family, the Mahaffey family. For over 3 decades, faced with heartbreak and forced to relive their trauma at relentless parole hearings, they chose dignity and they chose resilience. They did not let consuming anger define them. Instead, they fought. They turned immeasurable grief into advocacy, helping to revolutionize victims' rights in Canada. They ensured the systemic use of comprehensive victim impact statements in Canadian courtrooms, giving a powerful voice to the hurt before sentences are passed. When you look back at this dark chapter of Canadian history, do not remember the names of the culprits, do not give them the notoriety they so desperately crave. Remember the yellow ribbons that once lined the streets of St. Catharines. Remember the bright, enduring spirits of Tammy, Leslie, and Kristen. And remember the extraordinary strength of the families who carried a province's grief and forged a path towards lasting justice. They are the real story. Their voices are the ones that endure. My name is Jackson, and you're watching Northern Horrors.